So scale anxiety is a common thing people experience while losing weight. It's when the bathroom scale number negatively affects a person's mental and emotional well-being. Like when you step on this scale and the number is higher than expected and then you feel bad that you're not losing weight. That's an example of scale anxiety. So in this video, I'm going over the 3 ways I get scale anxiety and how I manage it. So in case you're dealing with it, you won't feel as bad when it comes up. I'm Nico, nutrition coach microdosing tirzepatide to help control my binge eating and to lose some vanity weight. So a few years ago while losing weight, I had some of the worst scale anxiety I've ever experienced. I had a bunch of weight fluctuations, which caused a lot of stress because I wasn't sure if I was losing weight or gaining it. So my solution to it was just to eat less food, but then that eventually affected my sleep, which made my fluctuations even worse. And then that just gave me more scale anxiety. It got to the point where I eventually got mentally and physically burned out from losing weight, and I had to stop everything I was doing for like, I don't know, half a year, I think, just to recover. And in that time, I stopped watching what I ate, exercising, weighing myself, just everything health related. And keep in mind, I've been doing all this for maybe like half my life, and I really enjoy doing it. So stopping was really out of character for me. And because I stopped, I gained a lot of the weight back I was trying to lose. But going through that, I was able to figure out what causes scale anxiety. And because now I know, I can manage it whenever it comes up. All right, there are 3 things that cause my scale anxiety, and it's 1, deadlines, 2, the scale number, and 3, lack of experience. We'll start with deadlines. A lot of what causes my scale anxiety are deadlines, meaning having a certain time frame I want to hit my goal weight. Like when I started losing weight, I didn't have a deadline, but now I do, mostly because it's been 7 months and I just want to get it over with, the weight loss process. And just to give some other examples of why people have deadlines, it would be losing weight before an event, so think like a wedding, or getting beach body ready for the summer. Just a bunch of things like that. So if scale anxiety can come from the pressure we put on ourselves to lose weight at a certain time, we can just extend the time frame or deadline. And when we do this, we can feel like we're ahead of schedule. Like I want to hit my goal weight in the next 2 to 3 months, but I'm dealing with some scale anxiety. So if I increase it to 4 months, it relieves some of it because I have more time to hit my goal. So if you're not in a big rush, it's okay to take longer to hit your goal weight if you want to. Having deadlines isn't bad by any means because it can help keep us in check and take our weight loss seriously. But at the end of the day, these are just timelines we make up. So if we can make up a time to hit our goal weight, we can also extend it. All right, diet breaks. Diet breaks are taking 1 or more weeks off of losing weight. If you count calories, this means going into maintenance calories. These are great because losing weight is both physically and mentally taxing. And when we're eating less food for months, we might not think as clearly, which means it's hard to fight this scale anxiety, and then it eventually gets worse. Taking time off from losing weight can feel like you're taking 1 step back just to take 2 steps forward. But it's more like taking 0 steps back and taking 4 steps forward because we can recover from the wear and tear of dieting, which can help us with the process of losing weight in the long run. If you were to take one, you can think of it like a vacation where you just eat a bit more food and relax. Because that's just pretty much what you do anyways during a diet break. I took a second diet break recently, and I'll make a video on it soon and how I do it with more details. All right, now let's talk about focusing on the scale number, which I think is the biggest thing that causes scale anxiety. People, including myself, focus on the bathroom scale number a lot, and for good reason. It's one of the easiest and most objective ways to see if we're making progress. Like if the scale number goes down over the course of a few weeks, then I definitely know I'm losing weight. Compared to, let's say, just looking in the mirror where it's subjective. And there's a lot of other factors involved like lighting, the clothes you're wearing, camera positioning, and so on. All of these things are a factor in how you see yourself, which can be a hard way to measure progress. Now, even though this scale helps us measure our progress, it also causes problems, aka scale anxiety. Like when the number doesn't go down, we get scared we're in a plateau, or if the number goes up, we might be scared we're gaining weight. So what are the solutions? First is understanding that weight fluctuations are completely normal. These fluctuations come from water weight and bloat, and it can change a lot from day to day. So things that cause water weight would be a lack of sleep, too much stress, eating too many salty foods, so think eating out at restaurants. And what can cause bloat? Bloat, I define it as food and liquid just sitting in your stomach before you use the bathroom. Things that would cause it would be not eating enough fiber, eating food that doesn't digest well, and not having a consistent eating schedule. The opposite of what I wrote here. And I'll give you an example I like using because it perfectly shows how knowing what causes fluctuations can help with scale anxiety. So I went on vacation for a few days and ate at a lot of restaurants. So I had a bunch of like steak and whatever this is and a bunch of donuts and stuff. Not a restaurant, but just like junk food. And because it's like salty foods and foods I don't normally eat, I had a bunch of water weight and bloat. So you can see here my weight just suddenly shot up, and I didn't freak out about it because I knew this would happen. And then eventually the weight just dropped. And then I continued to lose weight like normal. If I didn't know this would happen, I would be freaking out and scale anxiety would be bad. Also, by the way, a lot of scale anxiety does happen after vacations. I had a client who went on vacation for I think like a month and was scared she gained a ton of weight. So she didn't want to weigh herself. And then after like a week or two, she thought she got rid of the water weight and bloat. And when she weighed herself, it was actually pretty normal and she didn't gain any fat. But yeah, that's just a side story. Okay, moving on. So because the scale number fluctuates, I focus on my weekly average weight, not daily. I still weigh myself every day, but I know that's not the number to care about. Using weekly average weight helps smooth out any daily fluctuations you might have and kind of gives you your true weight. Now, I can tell you how to find your weekly average weight, but I'd rather save you the hassle and just give you a list of weight tracking apps because it does it all for you. So apps would be things like Shotzi, Glap, MacroFactor, MyFitnessPal, and Chronometer. I use Shotzi, and all the graphs and charts that I show you come from this app, but pretty much any app will work, so it's your choice. Now, if you have a weight tracking app, there is another way to measure progress along with weekly weight averages, and it's weight trends over time. To give you my example, this is my graph of my weight, and it trends down over time, which is good because it means I'm making progress. So my scale weight number can be high, low, or just whatever, and I wouldn't care because if my weight loss trends down over time, then it's not a big deal what the number says. And another bonus to using trend lines is that it gives us another form of visual progress. Like I didn't see any noticeable difference in how I looked until I lost like 12 pounds. But I knew I was losing weight by just looking at the trend line. This helps me stay motivated when I don't actually see changes in how I look. Okay, last are non-scale victories. Non-scale victories are another way to measure progress that don't involve a bathroom scale. A lot of us get so tied up in the number that we forget to look at the other positive things we get from losing weight. So things like clothes fitting better or more loose, getting more compliments, feeling more confident in your body, having more energy, and etc. There's a ton of non-scale victories. And something to add to this that helps me not focus so much on the scale number is just reframing it and asking myself this question. If I weighed 800 pounds, but I had my dream body and I was perfectly healthy, would I care about this scale number? And the answer is no, I wouldn't care. Losing weight is more than just a number. It's also how you physically feel and how you feel about yourself. And being in a body you like and care about is more important than the number. All right, the last thing that causes scale anxiety is a lack of experience. So I have a friend who's losing weight for the first time. He's not a client of mine and he's not on a GLP-1. He's just some guy trying to lose some belly fat, as he says. He was asking for some help on how to deal with hunger because it's a problem for him. Like he can't sleep at night because he's so hungry. And it got to the point where he just wanted to stop dieting completely just because the hunger was so bad. And side note, this is why most people quit diets in the first place and why GLP-1s are so useful. But anyways, I gave him advice on how to manage hunger and now he's sticking to the diet. So his lack of experience with dealing with hunger made the diet harder because he didn't know how to solve the problem. So how does this translate to scale anxiety? To give you an example, I used to get a lot of scale anxiety because I didn't know what caused it. Now that I know things like deadlines and the scale number can cause it, I now have potential solutions to solve my scale anxiety problem. So whenever scale anxiety comes up again, it won't be as much of an issue because I've dealt with it before. So inexperience means less solutions and experience means more solutions. And I'll give you another example. Learning how to drive as a teenager was a bit scary for me because I've never done it before and I've never driven a car or followed the rules. So this is a problem. But now that I have a lot of experience, driving isn't scary anymore. So having more experience means more solutions to my problems. This is part of why I make these videos, is to share my experience and solutions to common problems so you can save the time and hassle of trying to figure it out yourself. And even if what I say doesn't work for you, you can at least cross it off your list and just try something else. Or you can take what I'm doing and just make changes to it to make it work. And by just watching this video, you get my experience and solutions to hopefully solving some of your scale anxiety problems. All right, that's the video. I hope this helped. And just to let you know, I still deal with scale anxiety. I feel like it never fully goes away, but thankfully I know how to manage it better, to the point where it's just kind of annoying and in the background and not a major problem anymore. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.